So we'll start with doing the opening aspiration. So as we do this as well, just again bringing to mind the aspiration that brought us here. We've all made this commitment and given up our busy lives to be here. So just holding that in your hearts as well, and having gratitude to yourself for your willingness to do this and your courage. And then, as we did yesterday, considering so many causes and conditions for us to be here, and so many other people in our lives that, may have had to make sacrifices for you to leave them for a while. So we can extend out the aspiration, recognizing that just as we wish to be happy, and just as we wish that for the people that we hold close, but we can extend it out as well to the countless beings that we don't know. Whatever we feel about them, whether we regard them as strangers or enemies, we're all equal in this wish. So with boundless compassion and wisdom, I will work for the welfare of all. May we be free from hunger and discord, and have joy and a world at peace. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings never be separated from the happiness which is free from suffering. May all sentient beings live in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings never be separated from the happiness which is free from suffering. May all sentient beings live in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings never be separated from the happiness which is free from suffering. And may all sentient beings live in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. I can see this question. I'll start with this. Personally, I'm finding the meditations quite tough, as they are almost silent. Any advice would be appreciated. Honestly, I'm not surprised. It really is tough. It's not that often that we stop to look at what's happening in our minds. And so we prefer our meditations to also be entertaining, or if there's a guided practice, then we've got a thread to hang on to, and so there's much more sensory input happening. It's frightening to stop that constant chasing and getting our gratification through the sense organs, because that's where we spend most of our time. So, as I was saying yesterday, it really is short times many times, and so even in one practice session, you can take breaks from it, and just let go the effort. We've got quotes happening outside now, and the first quote that's been written up, so I encourage you to read them. The door is not now just for the dogs to not go upstairs, but it's also now there to inspire you with the quotes. And the one that's been put up is to say, let go all of your... the essence of meditation practice is to let go all of your expectations about meditation. So this is one of the things that makes it very difficult as well, because we've just got all of these, we're living in fantasies, we're living in our own made-up version of reality, and that's painful. I mean, it's coming out of an effort to, it's coming out of kindness to ourselves. We're doing our best to try and make our lives free from suffering, make our lives happy. So, you know, we've got to give ourselves credit for the effort, but it's not working. So it's very painful to see that. And so building up a confidence and a courage to actually do this at all is one of the things that really sustains us. So if we can build up that confidence that no matter what the practice looks like, no matter what we feel like in it, it's happening. We're actually breaking through this deluded sense of self. And so we can have, you know, if we're walking towards Everest and somebody's pointed out, there it is, like, you know, 14 days walk, it's that way, you'll get there. And as we start walking, the path might start to take us down into swamps, and there's no sign of Everest. But as long as we trust that we've got a decent guide, or the GPS is working, you know, as long as we know that we're on track, then even when we are down in the swamps and there's no sign of where we're trying to get to, we still have this confidence, you know. It doesn't matter that what it looks like. So this confidence is crucial to sustaining our efforts through the thick and thin of it. And there's many ways to develop that confidence. Again, I mean, we're sitting here surrounded by, and it doesn't, you know, I'm not saying that everybody needs to believe that these particular teachers are particularly skilled. That's up to each of us to check the teachers and see if they're valid, if they're authentic and worthy of our investment, actually, worthy of our giving them our hearts. It is a two-way process, you know, just as you would if we're training in anything, we would check out the teachers and see if they're valid. But they definitely, if you can find valid teachers and trust that they are authentic, they'll help a lot. They help through direct guidance. They help through inspiration, blessings, grace. You know, there's a lot of power and capacity. And again, this is, you know, this is for us to check out. One teacher, Venerable Rabina, says, you know, that the teachers are so powerful and they have so much capacity to help us because they've removed all of everything that's blocking their ability to express their activity through compassion and wisdom directed towards all of us. But yeah, she says, all they need is for us to give them an inch. And if we can give them an inch, they can take 1,000,000 miles. But even for us to give that much it's a big ask. We're so tightly grasping all the time. Yeah. It's terrifying. It's terrifying to drop the grasping and to let go. So I don't know if that helps. Yeah, I guess, and also I mean, we can do different practices, you know. Like the watching the breath is one to come back to again and again and again. But the mind will also start to hijack our efforts and come up with many reasons why it's better not to continue the meditation practice. So you got to be a little step ahead with that too, and come out, you know, do other things. Genuinely, like, make good use of the break times, and do other practices. Make sure that you're looking after yourself physically, and that's not just for here, but, you know, sort of going forward, that we take care of every aspect of our being. And then the sitting on the cushion and facing the tough stuff has got more to support it. Yeah. Okay, so we'll leave it at that for now, and we'll do some more practice. There's a lot of questions, so I will read through all of them. Sorry, and just with that one too, about, you know, finding it tough. I mean, there is one part of being here that kind of makes it a little challenging as well, is that it's kind of impossible to find a period of time that's going to suit everybody. And when we say short times, many times, that's going to differ for each of us. So find that in your own practice as well. A bit like going to the gym, you know, how many press-ups can I do before my muscles start to melt? So find enough that there's a little push, but not too much. And often it's useful to end the practice when you're having a good time. You know, stop while it's all going really well. That helps to break the attachment to it as well, and makes it more likely that you'll come back to the cushion because you ended on a good note, rather than ending on a, like, when is this session going to end? Has she fallen asleep? Does she not know that it's time to ring the bell? Yeah. Okay, so again, we'll do a 15-minute session, and I'll ring the bell halfway through. Okay, so another question. In Shambhala, they teach that when a full daydream arises during meditation, to quickly label and say a word to yourself, thinking, and then return to the breath. Sometimes I feel this is too abrupt. For the transition from catching yourself thinking to returning to the breath, is there something more gradual that you recommend? I guess one thing I would question is, in that moment when you're labeling and noticing that you've had the daydream, and you've labeled it as thinking, if you can do that without a harshness, I'm just wondering, like you're saying, it's too abrupt. So just checking in, like if there is a harshness to that labeling as you do it, if there's some judgment going on. But also, I mean, it is the case that we do get lost in daydreams, and also when you wake up from a dream, you know, if it was one that you were enjoying, quite often you want to stay with it, and you kind of you close your eyes and try and go back to it to keep it going. So it is a bit of a shock to know that as invested as we are in them, they're gone. They're just, they really are like bubbles. So when you get that sense of, I guess, that sort of after effect of how shocking it is that you just have to drop it. You can use that experience too as the object of your meditation, just whatever that feeling tone is when you have to suddenly, wake up from some reverie that you were lost in. It can also help to in that moment to shift focus and maybe say, come back to the body, come back to the sensations in the body. So rather than just dropping the daydream and back to the breath, you could even have the phrase, there is a body, and just feeling whatever sensations there are. Or you could rest in open awareness, where you're not focusing in on anything. It's just like you're just open to whatever is arising in the senses, in the hearing, the thinking, just wide open and letting your awareness rest in that more open spaciousness. Also, anything different when noticing not a full daydream, but something more subtle, like I'm doing a good job, or I wonder how much time is left. I mean, that's just what the mind does. It's producing thoughts all the time. So it's just in the noticing of them that, as I say, the liberation is happening. It's just seeing it and just letting it pass, letting it pass like a bubble, or even turning towards the thought itself and where's the thinker? Where is it arising from? What is a thought? So kind of look straight at it. That can also be helpful. But acceptance as well really is the starting point of it. Just knowing that that's just what the mind does. The mind produces thoughts. You mentioned that awakening can only happen through direct experience. Could you kindly elaborate on what is direct experience? And then the much bigger question, who experiences? And more questions, and what are the prerequisites? Knowledge, purity of mind. So yeah, there's a lot in that. Direct experience. So again, that's what we're aiming for in our practice, is to have that direct experience. So I'll give you an example. If you hold up your hand, yeah, and just close your eyes, and now focus your attention on the area of the hand and feel whatever sensations are there within the hand itself. So you may feel some tingling or heat, pulsation, vibration. Just notice whatever's there. And you don't even need to label it, but just to directly experience it. And then beginning to move the hand through space, backwards and forwards, just very gently. And again, just focusing our attention on whatever sensations may be present. Okay? So you get a sense of that direct knowing. And in that direct knowing, there's no hand. Yeah? The hand is a label, but the label hand isn't a direct experience. It's something that we put on top. So the word raw is often used, like it's a raw, direct, bare attention to just noticing whatever sensations are present. And then we have that same direct, raw, bare knowing of thoughts, sensations in the body, emotions, sounds. Yeah, there are countless objects of our attention, but it's the awareness of them that we're resting that attention in, and out of that awareness, all of these arise and pass away. So the direct experience is having that direct recognition of their reality of arising, passing away, arising, passing away. Who experiences? Yep, that's the big question. We haven't talked about, there's the what are called the four seals of Buddhism, and they are, I should turn to you, Venerable, impermanence.
All conditioned things are impermanent.
Yeah, all conditioned things are impermanent.
All contaminated things are in the nature of suffering.
All contaminated things are in the nature of suffering.
All phenomena are empty and selfless, in the nature of emptiness and selflessness.
All phenomena are in the nature of empty and selflessness.
And nirvana is peace.
And nirvana is peace. So in all of that, there's no who. Yeah, these are, again, it's the four seals of Buddhism are describing our reality and the direct seeing of that, the direct seeing of all phenomena being impermanent, all compounded things are in the nature of suffering. Contaminated, yeah.
Compounded things are impermanent, contaminated things in the nature of
Yeah,
suffering.
okay.
And all phenomena are empty and selfless.
Yeah. All phenomena are empty and selfless. So it's the direct, like again, coming back to this example of in that moment of having that direct experience of the sensations that are arising in this area. We see the arising and passing away, but the term hand just doesn't have any bearing on that direct experience. But still, it's like, this is my hand. What do you mean it doesn't have where's my hand? My hand, and I cut my nails and it's looking really fine. I'm glad I did that. And, all the stories that we have, none of those stories have any bearing on that direct experience. So who experiences? I mean, this really is, there's deep and profound philosophical teachings that go into this. And so in terms of the prerequisites, knowledge, yes, I mean, that training and that study, the intellectual refinement is all very essential. And purity of mind also. I mean, all of our practice is dependent upon, in terms of being able to see clearly into the mind, being able to get beyond the disturbed, confused mind. The purity is reliant upon, well, first of all, having an ethical foundation, not stirring up negativity. And I mean, we have stirred up negativity countless times, so there is a lot of purification that can be done to support our ability to directly perceive our own reality and directly challenge the who that experiences. So it's a lifetime's work, really. And very, very good if we can find very good teachers to help us along the path. Okay. Could you help us understand how aversion, attachment, and ignorance come up in our lives and cause suffering? And how can we use shamatha to notice them in our minds? Again, this is a lifetime's work. I don't know if it's implied in this that how come we have them at all, maybe? Like how they come up in our lives. We have them. I mean, that's our... there's the story of the Buddha saying, if you've been shot by an arrow, the main point is to get the arrow out, not to ask why was it shot, who shot it, what was the arrow made from, why me. You know, all of these questions are not going to cut through the suffering. The main thing is just get the arrow out. So we have aversion, we have attachment, we have ignorance. We can see this. And all of the teachings are to support us to abandon them, as I was saying earlier. So using the shamatha, it's the settling of the mind enables us to see the suffering more clearly. I was mentioning earlier, like you have a glass of water with a lot of pollution in it. And that, let's say that, so that if we say the mind is H2O, that's its quality. Pure, clean, clear, like water. And then you have all this additional pollution in it. So the first thing to do is to start to allow the mind to settle so that you can begin the discernment of recognizing what's water and recognizing what's the pollution in the water so that you can begin to remove it. Yeah, because it's all extraneous. It's not in the... it's all adventitious is a word that's used. All of the aversion and attachment and ignorance. None of it is in the essence of the mind itself, so it can all be removed. So the shamatha is the starting point, just allowing things to settle enough so that we can see more clearly, and then make the discernment. It's about moving from reactivity to responsiveness. Yeah, as long as we're stirred up and confused, and then we just don't have the ability to make discriminatory decisions. We're just acting on reflex, and that just keeps the negativities churning. Okay, really, each of these questions we could have a full retreat on each of them. So we'll do a bit more practice. So again, if anybody wants to do a walking meditation in this one. So as you head into your break, you could do what I call microdosing your mindfulness. And, you know, just when you remember, just in a moment, to become aware of, you could bring your attention maybe to the ground beneath your feet, or to the sounds around you, to the liquid in your mouth if you're drinking. Just these moments of again, touching into direct experience. These really, really help as well with our formal practice, so that when we come back to the cushion, it becomes easier over time. Yeah. And that idea that there's any separation between the sitting in formal practice and what's happening in our daily lives, it helps to dissolve that boundary. So enjoy your break. Thank you.